The Crows broke the Bulldogs in the first semi, but now the competition heats up in the second semi-final against Fitzroy. Next on 7.
The 1992 Foster's Cup, proudly brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors, Duckham's Motor Oils, double your engine warranty, CUB, Westpac, and Rocker Brothers.
Surprising semi-final, but both Adelaide and Fitzroy have earned it the hard way. The Crows are on a roll with victories over Carlton and Footscray, and they're looking for their very first AFL final. They go up against Fitzroy, rejuvenated with victories over North Melbourne and Sydney. Semi-final clash, Foster's Cup, Adelaide versus Fitzroy. And welcome to Waverley Park for 7 Sports' exclusive telecast of this semi-final in the 1992 Foster's Cup as Adelaide up against Fitzroy. And yes, it is a surprising result to see these two teams into the semi-final, particularly Fitzroy. And for the winner, the prize to play on Saturday night next against Hawthorn in 8 days' time in the grand final. Both teams are out on the ground. The Crows have started in excellent fashion with wins in Adelaide and here at Waverley. Fitzroy, second from the bottom last year, have been the surprise packet of this competition. How did they get there? Well, Adelaide by beating Carlton in Adelaide by 40 points and then over Footscray by 39 points last Saturday night, the most impressive performance. Fitzroy over North Melbourne in a close one at North Hobart by 2 points, and then very easily against Sydney in inclement weather last Sunday by 58 points. Well, the prize money is big, $360,000 all up, and for the winners tonight they're assured of $74.5, the loser $38,500, so there's a $36,000 difference. So they are playing for a lot, but the big thing is a grand final berth for either Fitzroy and Adelaide. Well, Don Scott and Peter McKenna join us, and gentlemen, the last time these two teams played in Adelaide, what a result.
Well, and what a day. And we were both over there, Bruce, we'll never forget it. And a lot of people are tipping, of course, Adelaide to make these 6 this year, Don.
Well, I would too, Peter. They've got that home ground advantage, and it's great to see them with a chance. Well, both of these teams have a chance to play in a grand final next week.
Well, here's the Adelaide squad, Don, and, well, it's pretty strong. And if you have a look at the newcomers, Anthony Modra from West Adelaide kicked 6 goals against Footscray, a terrific performance. Pittman showed a lot of form in the ruck. Ben Hart from North Adelaide, the youngest player yet to play for the Crows. Anthony Ingerson from Central Districts, a good left footer. And, of course, Brenton Sanderson from Sturt. Some very good young players there for the Crows.
And the Fitzroy squad, I should say, all of those fellows that are new are draft choices. And it's good to see them starting to, well, I suppose, reap some benefit from their draft. There's a young team there, a team that will play with a lot of enthusiasm tonight, and I'm particularly looking forward to this game.
OK, Don, thanks for that. And also, Peter, we take a break back with the bounce of the ball after this.
Thank goodness there was still a little iced coffee in these two.
Waverley Park. Graham Corns, the coach of Adelaide again this season, with Chris McDermott, the captain, Robert Shaw, coach of Fitzroy, and Paul Roos back as captain for 1992. Well, Gerard Healy and Max Stevens are on the boundary line tonight, and here's Gerard with the Mitsubishi Motors Ground Report. Good evening, Gerard.
Good evening, Bruce. Well, folks, we may well have missed out on summer here in Melbourne, but it's been a fantastic start to autumn, and tonight's no different. As you can see on the Mitsubishi Motors weatherometer, a current temperature of 16.1 with an overnight low of 14 degrees. Humidity is 67%, a little bit higher than average, and there's a 10-kilometre wind blowing down the ground from right to left of your screen, giving a 1-goal advantage. The ground's pretty good, perhaps a little bit slippery, and the forecast is for a fine and mild night. Bruce, a great night for football.
Couldn't agree more, Gerard. As we take a look at the Adelaide bench, they're kicking to the left of screen. 4 by 20-minute quarters here, time on added. As soon as the boundary and goal umpires signal no drawn games as the scores are level, time on to be played 2 by 5s. Chris Mitchell and Peter Carey, the two umpires.
Maynard and Stevens at it at centre-half forward.
So which of these two clubs will go through to play Hawthorn in the grand final? It's a big occasion for both of them. And Fitzroy have been very impressive. Lyon gets the first kick of the match. He goes up to the centre wing, but talk about impressive. Adelaide were against Footscray in that win last Saturday night. Fitzroy to half forward, Wilden on a lead. Satori not playing, of course. There McDermott to Smith, who's been one of the surprise packets, and a free kick here to Fitzroy.
Ross Lyon, half forward. Oh, good mark taken by Tregenza. Simon Tregenza, very talented player, kicks wide to the running Maynard. Good play by Maynard to follow it up towards Scotty Lee. Lee looking back towards Maynard. They're getting themselves into trouble here. Thought about a hand pass back to Lee Maynard, but Maynard kicks wide and out of bounds on the full. So a Fitzroy penalty kick. That'll be John Blakey to take it. Should be a terrific contest, this one. Fitzroy playing in good form at the moment. Had a good practice series. And Foster's Cup games, Don.
Actually, Blakey, taking that kick there, is lined up on the opposite wing, so he's covering a bit of ground. He's got the job on Marshall.
Centre wing, and here's McGuinness. Back to Lee. Steadies. Adelaide made it through to the semi-finals last season. Were beaten by North Melbourne then. Marshall started 1991 with a flurry. Marshall was unfortunately injured. Was one of the early stars for Adelaide. Goes to half forward. Lynch with Modra, who made an auspicious debut here.
Well, you'll know he's playing tonight, though, Anthony Modra, because Lynch, certainly one of the most talented players in the game. There's the Fitzroy bench, and you can see how young
they are. A lot of young faces, Peter.
Well, good to see Bradley Boyd there as one of them too. Recruited from Collingwood. He's got a lot of talent, Bradley. Now, here they come for. That was Hodges giving the free kick. Elliott gets it across to Roos. Roos to half forward, a one-on-one contest. Oh, that's a good mark by Tasker. Good, strong mark. He's playing
behind Richard Osborne, though.
Yes, it looks like he's picked him up for the night. Sean Tasker to the half forward line. A pack of players congregate. It's thumped. Fitzroy doing it well. That was Morris punching it away. Little Rover racing after it as Matty Dundas comes out towards the half forward line and over the line. And there's Matthew Dundas, one of the many good players that has come from Assumption College, Don.
Oh, here we go again. But he does pick up a lot of possessions, young Matthew. Comes from up around Alexandra.
Caven doing the ruck work with Pittman. Rowe round his body to centre wing. Stevens unable to take it. Liptak there. Blakey. Smothered off the boot. Still with Blakey. Little handball. Didn't go far. Looked for Stevens. Rowe got in the road. Quick kick away by Darryl Hart. Two Harts playing for Adelaide tonight, and Ingerson and Roos, and a ball in. So still no score.
The Crows bench. Interesting to see Romano Negri there too, who looked like being anything after the first game against Hawthorn last year. Now the ball at half back. Liptak is charging after it onto McGuinness. He's a danger man. The chip pass up in front, punched away from Hart. That was good play by Morris. Racing after his Tregenza, a very speedy player. Good pick up. He's unloaded those. He got rid of it. And Fitzroy take the ball away towards centre wing. And there's Jamison. Oh, he's bumped in the back across the line. That was Jason Baldwin who kicked that ball out to half back. Jamison to take the kick.
49 goals last season for Adelaide. A three-pronged attack now they've got with Modra and also Hodges. Handball by Paxman. Seacamp it was. At the half-back. Out to centre wing. McCormack, Wiedemann there, and also Lyon and McDermott. Here's McCormack's handball. Clever to Lyon. Short to Roos. Takes some courage. He's got it. Can attack from 60 metres. Go to Wilden. Good kick. Played Roos.
Well, David Pittman was on the run then, and he should have kept going.
I thought you'd say that, Don.
Well, I mean, we're
straight through him, Don.
Well, I mean, you don't go out of your way to do that, but the opportunity doesn't present itself that often, Peter. You wouldn't realise that.
Well, Wilden from 45 metres. Will he score the first goal of this semi-final? Didn't play a lot of games last year, but was a leading goal kicker at Fitzroy, and he's kicked that straight, long, and through.
Good start to the Roys, and a very talented player is Darren Wielden. He'll prove a handful tonight. He really can play the game. So can this fella, McCormack. Look at the cleverness there. Good play by McCormack. It's tapped on by Broderick. He's Dundas. Quick kick was smothered. And it's kicked away by Tasker. The half-forward line. Fitzroy players wait for it. Here's Seacamp. Good play. Really composed himself then. Blakey. Now, how will the umpires see that?
Too high.
Playing it to Blakey. As Don Scott agreed with that decision. Blakey on centre wing.
Often used in attacking role to half-forward. Osborne was his target. Pittman from the side takes a mark, plays on. Ex-Norwood player who didn't quite make it last year. Ingerson at the bat. Here's Hodges on his left foot to the pocket. Jamison in the front spot. Paxman over the back. Opportunity for Modra. Ran out of room in the end. Or clever by Morrish, the ex-Essendon player, to centre wing. Rowe has to sit and wait. Couldn't take it. Was interfered with. Free kick. Going to Rowe.
That's it there.
Umpires marked as they have been throughout this Foster's Cup. We can hear Peter Carey there issuing instructions. Rowe goes to centre half forward. Clever mark from the side by Baldwin. It goes to centre half forward now. In the front spot there is Harding. Still with Harding. Off the ground. Lee. Harding with him again. Or high tackle on Tregenza. Must get it, and does.
There's no doubt about that one. But they're very enthusiastic. There's Robert Shaw, the coach. He'd be very proud of what they've done so far, but they'll be looking for the grand final next week. As will Adelaide, of course. Kicked away. There's Smith getting it back to McDermott. The chip pass. He had an option of two. Maynard often sneaks to the half-forward line. Here he is from 40 metres. Rodney Maynard kicks and hits the post. And by goodness, doesn't he get down to that forward line?
It was a good handball by Smith then to pick out McDermott. He obviously summed up the situation before he went for that ball, and by finding McDermott, he had two options, and he picked Maynard, who is normally a very good kick for goal.
Lynch goes wide. Stevens the target. Paxman. He's got a bit of time. Steadies. Roos maybe was the target. Here's Baldwin. Into Dundas. He'll use Roos, the runner, whose season and football career was rejuvenated last year. Here's Abbott. Attacks and goes to the square. Wheeled him one out and takes almost the beauty. I was about to say, here's Smart, the dasher, runner-up in the best and fairest, the club champion last year. Baldwin misses it. Getting rid of it in a hurry to Tregenza. Goes for a bounce. Often does that. Runs about 2 metres and bounces it. Now McDermott. Goes to centre half forward. And good kick. Modra on a lead in front of Lynch. He kicked brilliantly last week. Now goes short. Hodges in the pocket. Seacamp with him. And it'll be a throw-in. Bit indirect there, wasn't he?
It was indirect. Poor kick. There's Wow Jones, former Carlton St Kilda ruckman, but it was a good lead by Modra. He really led straight up the middle of the ground. It'll be a great contest. He and Alistair Lynch. There's Brett Stevens, a terrific stalwart for Fitzroy, pushing and shoving the ball at half forward for the Crows. It was Rowe trying to get it out. Ball smothered off the boot. Tap towards Marshall. Marshall quickly gets it onto Jamison. He's brought the ground and holding the ball. So the ball will come back to halfback. Chris Mitchell deliberating on that one. And the kick, well, not a kick in the end. Paxman handballs to Roos.
Plays on to centre wing Osborne. So one captain to the former captain.
I wonder if Fitzroy are reverting to their ruck play they did against North Melbourne. They had Stevens on in the first quarter down there. He did a lot of damage by running around the first quarter. Had Abbott in contesting the work. Now Abbott's down in the forward pocket, and they've got a young fellow, Caven, at centre half forward.
Well, that was Stevens over the back of Pittman. McGuinness and Lyon together. Tasker, and not much happening for a minute. And Peter Carey will take charge. Fitzroy. Supporters there from the bush, I think. Like, I'd say Nick Kelly and his gang, didn't it? Here's Wiedemann. Handball to Rowe. McDermott unable to control it. Some pressure there from McCormack. Just about to say about Fitzroy last year. They won 1 out of their first 17, won 3 of their last 5. And if you count their trial matches and their win over West Coast, they've won their last 5 matches.
Well, they actually put up some terrific performances at the end of the year. some shepherding in the ruck. And the kick will go to the Adelaide half forward, Anthony Ingerson, towards half forward. Jamison the flyer. What a big leap. Here's Hodges. Scott Hodges. Bring it back to the pocket. Lynch versus Modra. Lynch did it well. Soccers it off the ground to the half back line. Baldwin cleverly to the boundary line. Good thinking and disciplined play. But Lynch had Modra covered then in a one-on-one contest. Certainly looking forward to that. Ball at half forward again. Ingerson versus Stevens. Stevens punches it to the line. Dundas after it. Matthew Dundas, beautiful pickup on the left foot. Oh, kicks to centre wing.
Oh, good
Caven.
play.
2 bites of the cherry for his muck. Now he is a great kick, Caven.
Goes very short to no one really, but Osborne with some chance. Tasker's got hold of him, wants a free kick and gets it.
Every time you give a bloke a rap, they muck it up, don't they?
I think he might have heard you, Peter. Tasker to half forward. Roos in the front spot. Jamison at the back, taken by Ingerson, who started pretty well. That's on his wrong side. Modra one out against Lynch, gives away a free kick.
Gee, the umpire's got a hard job. Who's holding who in those situations?
Lynch from full back. Looks for Stevens. Pittman at the back. Now Marshall, who is a good kick normally, and that's a beauty. Short and finding Hart. And this is his range from about 40 metres. About as far as he likes to kick from. But he can kick goals, Hart.
Good delivery by Marshall. Finding his mark in heavy traffic.
Specialist forward pocket now, Hart. Won the Jack Odie medal in the grand final for North Adelaide last year. He kicks that straight through for a goal.
1 point the margin. Adelaide leading. And the value of good delivery to your forwards resulted in that goal. There's Tregenza getting it back towards Maynard. Back up support from Marshall. Richard Osborne. Hand pass over the top. Here's Blakey. Blakey from 60 metres. Smothered off the boot by Tregenza was good play. It was good play also by Nigel Smart. And there's Ross Lyon, who played a magnificent game against the Swans. Looks casual, but is very, very talented. Lyon to the half-forward line. But a good, strong mark coming across the front with Pittman.
He's a big fellow, Peter.
He's got some mobility too, Don.
My word. Likely time.
Maynard from Pittman. Smith, his target. Good mark. Playing with a lot more confidence on the back line. Not a good kick. Giving the forwards not a lot of opportunities. Now Blakey, who's manning up with Marshall. McGuinness is being tagged by Broderick. At the back, Maynard goes wide and long, looking for Hodges. From the side, McCormack.
Good effort by McCormack to stand his ground.
Lipsack, McCormack again, very clever. He's been good in the crunches. McGuinness tucks it underneath himself and it'll be a ball up.
Well, Don, McCormack had to do the hardest thing in football then.
Something you've never done, Pete.
Oh, you have to add that.
What is it, Peter?
Well, he had to run back. The flight of the ball with a pack coming towards him. I mean, that's pretty difficult to do.
Ingerson, McDermott, Hart tried to sell a dummy, decided he wouldn't get around Broderick, goes wide. Jamison, Tregenza, good tackle. McGuinness back to Tregenza. Adelaide work it cleverly to the pocket. Modra and Lynch.
He's always at you, Alistair Lynch. Always with you on the lead. Must be very difficult to play against him. Half forward for Adelaide. Good close contest so far. That was Ingerson getting it to ground. Hard at the base of the pack. McGuinness dive forward, but
strong work by Paul Roos too. It's a good head out by Ingerson. Some interested spectators.
Still at half forward for Adelaide. Again Ingerson. Blakey loses it. There's McDermott. Taps it on, then goes to get it again. Good play, Chris McDermott. He looks for Tasker. Tasker a high ball. In towards full forward. That one-on-one contest again. Lynch punching at the ground. He's got backup support from Roos. Taps it on cleverly to Broderick. Then on further afield for Fitzroy. Back to Roos coming from Baldwin. Socket off the ground. That's good play by Ross Lyon. He is very talented. Look at that. Now he goes to ground. That could be holding the ball. Yes. So he just
Why didn't he make an attempt on that occasion, Peter?
He just lay over the ball. The umpire had to pay it to Smith.
Goes short. Maynard the target. Poor kick again. Here's Elliott. Handball over to Harding. Again goes short to Stevens. From 70 metres, bangs it to the goal front. Good kick, gives Abbott every chance. Smart at the back, gives away a free kick.
I thought that was going to be good play by Smart, because I thought he was going for the arms of Abbott because he knew he was out of position, but the umpire deemed that he's put the hand on the shoulder. He really couldn't do much else on that occasion, Nigel Smart. Here's the replay of it. What's he do? Oh, I see that left hand going across there.
So Abbott from 30 metres out wobbles it through for a goal.
Fitzroy by 5 points. The even contest so far. There's Pittman tapping it down. He's got a bit of a leap. Blakey and Marshall go to ground. Blakey tried to hook it out. Oh, that is tough. I thought he made a genuine attempt to get rid of that. Marshall, from the centre of the ground to the pocket. The leader's on. Oh, that is a top mark. Terrific mark, Jemison. Now he is a great kick. Now one man in the Crows camp that could make the distance from here, which is about 52 metres, is this man. Rodney Jamieson, one of the stars of the Crows side. Let's see what he does. Look at nice kicking style. Brings it in, just hits the post. So bad luck to Adelaide. A very promising young forward, Rodney Jamieson, born in Victoria. 2 goals straight Fitzroy, 1-2 Adelaide.
Here's Seacamp, ex-East Perth. Top draft pick for Fitzroy. 19 years of age. First season with the Lions. Stevens and Ingerson, and Blakey helping out, going over the back. Dundas robbed of it by Hart, whose handball's very good to Tasker on the run, who goes to full forward. Jamieson and Paxman, and Modra also there. Here's McGuinness. Now Jamieson, tackled by Paxman. Now Rowe tries to break through McGuinness. Ingerson with him, still McGuinness. Morrish over the top of it. Still no free kick. Here's Elliott from the back pocket with a high one. Dundas at the back, one of the smallest players on the field. Hart goes over the top of him and gives away a free kick. So Dundas' free kick from the back pocket, the 20-year-old. Short to Roos. Getting a lot of touches, Roos. Here's Stevens. So
the interesting thing about this game, Bruce, is the backmen on both sides prepare to run down the ground. We just saw Roos do it on that occasion. We've seen Maynard do it, and also Tasker for Adelaide.
Lee to Wiedemann at half back.
Yes, good solid player, Scott Lee. To half forward. Oh, good mark to Ingerson. Ingerson on that left foot brings it in towards the pocket. Punched away. That was good play, but it's gone straight to Hart. Hart playing for the free kick. Blakey at the base of the pack. No, it wasn't Blakey. In fact, it was Elliott. And Chris Mitchell yelling out his instructions. Paul Broderick on screen. Will be a bounce at half forward. Good even contest. Again, Ingerson, he's got a good leap. Hodges playing on the half forward line. Cleverly, just beat him over the line. So it'll be a throw in at half forward.
4.5 minutes remaining. Excellent night for football, and not much scoring going on here. 12-8 in the first quarter. Stevens and Ingerson. Ingerson, who's been impressive. Blakey and Rowe, well played. Rowe runs into a tackle though by Broderick.
Too slow, yes, I agree on that occasion.
So going for holding the ball, an advantage paid there to Seacamp. Pittman at the back, Wiedemann down the front, caught by 2 Fitzroy players, then brushes Dundas aside, and then sells a dummy on Blakey, and then handballs the ball out of bounds. Well, I guess he's carried it 40 metres, but in the end a disappointing result.
Showed great skill on that occasion, also very elusive to get around his opponent at that time, Wayne Wiedemann. Usually a straight ahead type player, Peter, no frills.
It was a clever balk a la Darren Jarman, because very cleverly done, but he probably tried to do a little bit too much. Just under 4 minutes of play left as Hart. 2-metre kick, socket off the ground. Here's a race for the ball. Tregenza cleverly. That was great play, Tregenza. He gets it on to Modra. Here's a chance. As we see racing into goal for Adelaide. That was Tregenza again, and he's missed. Now, he's not happy with himself as he hung the head. 1-3 Adelaide. Fitzroy remain on 2 straight kicks for 2 goals.
Paxman actually should have put his body on the ball on that occasion, Peter. He ran at it, should have fallen on it and trapped it because he was a 1-on-3 situation.
Seacamp getting it short from Lynch. Well, Maynard and Jamieson have hit the post, and Tregenza's missed from about 10 metres out. Here's Morrish. Goes inside to Broderick. On the left foot, not a good kick. Hodges, he juggled it, but you heard the umpire say he didn't hold it. Baldwin to Dundas, to Elliott. Goes sideways to Morrish, who goes backwards to Broderick. A bit like a game of soccer at the moment, while they're pushing it around. Here's Caven, who Peter's already told us is an excellent kick. That's no exception. A beauty to Wilden, and a strong mark in front of Smart.
What a contest that'll be. 2 good players, Wilden and Smart, Don.
Very, very clever player. He'd have to be, so Peter, at that size, playing at full forward. Wilden.
Long way out, 55 metres. He's going to go short and go for Blakey and get him.
Here's David Marshall. He's got the job, or Blakey's got the job on Marshall.
Test him. Marshall was in the back pocket.
Got 5 metres on the mark.
So McGuinness has got 5 metres to run up. Blakey from 45 metres straight in front. This will give the Lions a handy little break if he can kick it. He's timed it all right. Kicked it straight. Looks all right. To goal.
Well, this is a good start by Fitzroy because there's a slight breeze blowing to left of screen that Adelaide has. You can tell by the kicking to the other end. As we see the kick from Lyon to half forward. It comes on to Caven from Stevens. Caven, a beautiful kick. Osborne! Yes! Richard Osborne has marked 30 metres from goal. Or can they kick another one? It'll be 4 straight and some excited spectators looking on.
Well, a few loose gaps there. A little bit of concentration lapse by Adelaide to allow Fitzroy to get it down there so easily.
Richard Osborne stamps and goals. So, Fitzroy have kicked 4 goals straight, and they lead Adelaide 1-3.
Well, the concentration lapse came in the fact that Ross Lyon was by himself in the centre, got it out, and it wasn't a good kick, but he got it across to Stevens, who in turn handballed to Caven. Now, where is Osborne's man? There he is, just coming into camera there, Tasker. And a team that has numbers around the ball, usually as Fitzroy doing on this occasion, are the team that are playing well and playing with a lot of confidence. And Fitzroy is displaying those qualities right now.
Abbott unopposed against Pittman. So what an important minute and a half this is. Another one to Fitzroy will give them the dream start. Dundas away. A good kick to Wilden out in front. Gave him a chance. Handballs inside. Broderick caught. Should go for holding the ball.
Now that was a shocking kick by Dundas, and also a bad hand pass by Wilden.
Okay, I mean, it didn't hit him on the chest, but it gave him some chance. At least it was in front of him.
Well, you wouldn't see that in the top team, would you?
Well, they're playing well, Fitzroy. There's Tony McGuinness. The set, 2 Fitzroy players raffle this one, Caven. Let's see if he can kick well. I gave him a rap before. He's still got plenty of depth in his kicking, but it's wide. This is Rowe racing after Wilden. Oh, that's holding the man. Have to be. So it's a free kick to Adelaide. The Rowe. Wilden hung on too long. Rowe. They're under a lot of pressure at the moment. Stephen Rowe to centre wing. Pittman has it thumped away from him. McDermott caught the ground. His players racing after it. But as we said before the game, there's a slight breeze to left of screen, and the kicking to the right, well, we've seen a few wobblies. So this could be a good lead.
(24-9). Fitzroy in front. Kick very straight. Same number of scoring shots. Rowe to McGuinness. And siren about to go. And it does. As McCormack has the last kick. And at quarter time, Fitzroy leads by 4 goals to 1 goal 3. It's 24-9.
Hi, this is Sean Tasker from Adelaide Crows. And you're watching the AFL on 7.
Quarter time, Adelaide 1-3 trails Fitzroy 4 goals. It's 9-24 in the semi-final. Don't forget the Supersport Saturday tomorrow, the Olympiathon, raising money to send our team to Barcelona, 7 a.m. to midnight. Hope you can help us out, Australia-wide. And the Olympic athletic trials are on Sunday afternoon. Check your local guides, or Sunday evening. Just check when they're on, March 8. There should be some great action also from Adelaide. And the Moomba Masters water skiing, March 8 and 9. Again, check your local guides for telecast details from that one from the Yarra. Well, Max Stevens has been listening to that man, Graham Corns, and Gerard Healy's been listening to Robert Shaw, and the Fitzroy camp should be a buzz, Gerard.
Yes, there was enthusiasm by the bucket load in the Fitzroy camp, Bruce. Players geeing each other up. It was very infectious. In fact, Robert Shaw, quite composed. He had a long talk to Brett Stevens, said play a little bit more direct. And he said not to kick it to the centre too early from the wings. He said keep up the 1%ers, shepherding, tackling and smothering. All good pressure football. And Max, speaking of pressure, the Adelaide camp.
Thanks very much, Jared. Jared's that pumped. You should be playing there tonight. Now, Graham Corns has pointed out that the boys have got to kick right down the middle of the ground. He said what has to be appreciated, this ground is 20 metres longer, 15 metres wider than Football Park. The quickest way home is straight down the middle. Wants the forward line to open up a little, take a little bit of the pressure off Tony Modra, and the work rate. It must live 100%, particularly out of the centre, and I wouldn't be surprised, Jared, if we see Ben Hart coming on in this quarter, a little bit of speed.
Well, he's already there, Max, so it's a good choice. Hard on the ground as we look at the stats.
And quickly looking at those stats, they're fairly even in the disposal department. Free kicks in favour of Adelaide. Hit-outs, that's an interesting one. Favouring Adelaide by quite a margin. That's because of the good work of Pittman.
And Pittman to go against Abbott here. Fitzroy go to the left. Expected to be the scoring end, so they've done remarkably well in the first quarter to lead by 15 points. Here's McDermott. Wiedemann, quick kick away to centre half forward. Ingerson was at the back. Here's Roos. Just a little one out to a half back, hoping for the boundary line, and we'll get it. Liptak and Elliott in pursuit. The champion there, Roos. Adelaide for 3 years. And
Adelaide, Bruce, are playing their two forwards in the goal square. That is Modra and Hodges, and they're both leading from the square.
This is Ingerson versus Stevens. Stevens front position. Chris McDermott. Good left foot kick. Roos should mark this. He sets himself. Eyes on the ball. Couldn't quite take it. Back after it. And players come in and they trap the ball in. It's Darryl Hart at the bottom of the pack, and the umpire will bounce it. 40 metres from the Adelaide goal. Good first quarter by Fitzroy. Broderick. He's got the job on McGuinness. Oh, McCormack, cleverly done. That's great play by McCormack. Dundas, the short one is on to half forward. Ross Lyon, danger here for Adelaide. Oh, Lyon to forward pocket. Wielden versus Smart. Smart will go to the line, and he disguised that pretty well. Now we saw Smith injuring himself. There he is on the bench. What's the report, Max?
Well, a situation with Darren Smith. He's got a bruised calf. According to the club doctor, he'll only come back onto the ground if necessary.
Wielden out of the air, smothered by Ben Hart, the 17-year-old. Now Broderick to Dundas, round the body. He's at a Rovers goal. Looks like it's through.
It's a free kick.
It's a goal anyway, I thought.
Chris Mitchell says yes, so it's a goal. Goal to Dundas. And this lead becoming substantial for Fitzroy at 5 goals to 1-3.
Well, they're very enthusiastic, and this is a start that Adelaide wouldn't want Fitzroy to start the way they're starting now, because they could go on with it. Fitzroy haven't had that much success over recent years, and all they need is a bit of a sniff, and they could go away with it. Dangerous. And here he is, now the free kick, really just a little high by Wiedemann. Nothing in it.
Back to the centre. Adelaide would really have to get a move on. They're playing with confidence, Fitzroy. Well, McCormack could have received a free kick. Look at the pressure on Tregenza. Now it's Marshall. Marshall to half forward. Hart races at the ball with Morris. Roos setting a fine example. Morris is there also, trying to tap the ball on. Oh, good play by Abbott. Eventually it's back with Blakey. Blakey goes to ground. Now Stevens. They're running in numbers, Fitzroy. Oh, it's a half forward. The mark has been taken by Osborne. Well, looks at Osborne's a great kick, and he'll kick from 50.
The other player I was impressed with was Morris on the back flank there. He's a very determined player. I watched him against Sydney too, and he also impressed with his dogged determination in that game.
Well, will it be 6 goals straight? Richard Osborne from the 50-metre line races in, kicks long, right through the middle.
Fitzroy flying away here, 36-9. Osborne with his second, Abbott easily. McGuinness has been well held. Couldn't get it away. Rose handball okay to Pittman, to Marshall. Can Adelaide mount a challenge here? It's desperate times for the Mingerson. Run under the ball cleverly by Ruse. The handball to Baldwin. Goes sideways and short. And finds Blakey at half-back. He was going to go to Seacamp. Decided not to. Then gave McCormack a pretty hard task. Oh, played McCormack really, because Hart was in the box seat and it took it off him. Now Pittman takes his time to Rowe, going backwards to Wiedemann, stops, props, looks for something, goes to half forward. Marshall at the back of Seacamp. Broderick and McCormack, cleverly by Broderick to McCormack, who's done the job so far very well on McDermott. Goes back to Seacamp, to half forward, good kick to Lyon, rather to Abbott I should say. 60 metres out, centres it. Is Osborne the target? It is. Wheeldon at the back, Tasker in the front spot. Good handball over by Harding. Now Smart on the up to Rowe. Clever handball to Ben Hart. Quick kick away, doesn't go very far. The pressure from Fitzroy enormous. Maynard driven to the back, no free kick. Baldwin kicks it sideways and kicks it very well to Wheeldon. Oh, they just kept pressuring, didn't they? And worried Adelaide out of it in the end.
Here it is, just numbers around the ball. That was Stevens getting across to Baldwin. And Smart thinking that the ball would go to the pocket, went that way. It was well centred. Smart also tripped over at that critical moment as Wheeldon took the mark.
He's kicked 65 goals in 25 day games, Wheeldon. Lays back, kicks it long and strong for another one.
Who would have thought that Fitzroy would lead 7 goals straight to 1 goal 3 with 15 and a half minutes to go in the second quarter? They've been getting it out of the centre. McCormack has been magnificent with his skill. This is Wayne Wiedemann. They've got to get something moving. Oh, they're making mistakes, Adelaide. McDermott to the half-forward line. The players fly. It hits the deck.
Paul Roos is injured too at centre-half back. He's gone over on his ankle and he's limping badly, Peter.
Well, that was Rowe to Marshall and now to Hodges. They really need something to happen up forward. Scott Hodges, they must kick this goal, Adelaide.
He'll kick it, I reckon.
Well, they've got a 2-pronged attack up there, Modra and Hodges. Scott Hodges, he's pulled this one across his body to the pocket. The Packers there. Oh, what a good mark, Alistair Lynch. He's off and running. Good play by Lynch and kicks it long out to the half-back line. But unfortunately for Fitzroy, out of bounds on the full.
Paul Roos is limping still badly. He's going towards the square. No, he's going down to the forward line now. He's signalling with Paxman, I think it is, or Caven. No, Caven's going to centre-half back, and Roos is now going to come off.
Jamison's kick after Tregenza handballed it to him as Roos does come off. And he'll be replaced by Boyd. So let's hope Paul Roos is okay. Gerard Healy will let us know shortly. And Boyd on the ground.
Former captain of the Collingwood under-19s is Brad Boyd.
He's in his first season with Fitzroy. Handball by Jamison to Tregenza. Not a bad kick by Tregenza to the square. And Modra pushed out of the way by Lynch and rushed through from behind. So 1-4 to 7 goals. Tregenza getting a few touches on centre wing. He's had 6 and 4, but here's Lynch who's held Modra. Caven now given the job on Ingerson. Lynch goes short. Finds Seacamp a bit good slow. Tackle. Yep, the Hodges tackle okay. Elliott just pushed off it by Rowe. Chance for Adelaide. Goes to full forward again. Could have used McDermott. He's not too happy, the captain, about it. And Lynch takes the mark.
That was a confident mark, Peter, for a full back. He was behind. He should have gone the punch.
No, he shouldn't have. He had his name written all over it, Don. As you see, Stevens. On to Broderick. Broderick wide, Lyon playing in front. Good mark. And it was a good pass. They're playing with confidence. Bad luck to lose Roos. We'll find out shortly what the problem is. Let's hope it's not too serious. But Ross Lyon played a great game against the Swans. He brings it into half forward. Wheeldon the flyer. Is it his mark or Adelaide's? No, it's not. No, it's coming back. It's a mark, I think, to Adelaide. And it'll go to Ben Hart. Or will it go to Nigel Smart? In fact, it is. Let's have a look again. Nigel Smart pushed out the free kick.
No, it's Ben Hart.
It's Hart's mark, I think. And Wheeldon still thinks it's his, but it's going definitely the mark has been paid to Hart, I would think.
You see, this youngster played for North Adelaide. He's a 16-year-old. His first game a couple of years ago.
The kick across the ground to Nigel Smart is a casual bounce. And a nice kick to the half-forward line. As the Fitzroy players thump at the ground. Here's danger because Darryl Hart's got it. Up in the air towards full forward. Good mark. Scott Hodges wrestled and pushed and shoved and finally took front position.
Now playing right in the square, Hodges, with Jamison. Last time he came to Waverley Park, he played on the half-forward line.
Well, they need this one, Adelaide. Scott Hodges kicks hard. It's close. It's a goal.
16-42. Hodges, a goal to Adelaide. Against the run of play, Fitzroy totally on top. McCormack's had a tremendous match. Skill levels very high. To Dundas, to half-forward, Osborne and Tasker. Osborne and Wheeldon both creating a lot of problems for the Adelaide defence. Blakey charges his way through, goes for goal, kicks it long and just misses. So the perfect record of 7 out of 7 is missed. And what about Paul Roos, Gerard Healy?
Well, it's bad news for Fitzroy supporters and Paul Roos, I'm afraid, Bruce, because Paul has gone over on his right ankle. It appears quite serious, and they've rushed him up the race to have some ice applied. Doesn't look good.
Well, that's rotten luck. He was doing particularly well, Paul Roos, as usual. This is Tasker to centre wing. Negri couldn't take the mark. Baldwin ridden into the ground. Here's McCormack. Oh, he's cleverly on the left foot.
He's a clever player, isn't he?
Oh, he's got enormous skill. On to Lyon. Lyon in towards half forward. Hosman underneath it. Here's a chance for Caven on the left foot. Hooks it back for a great goal. So Fitzroy hit back hard. Peter Caven's kicked his first goal, and the Roys 8-1 lead Adelaide 2-4.
A touch of class. A touch of class, as we see there. One clever player and Lyon getting across towards the centre. And what's this? A touch of class as he holds the ball across his body, goes onto the left foot. A nice goal for the 8th for Fitzroy and his first, Peter Caven, at centre half forward.
49-16. He says Don Scott doesn't appreciate the skills of the game. McCormack, well played by Marshall. Broderick trying to go through, and he's done a good job on McGuinness, Broderick.
He'd rather Caven have cleaned up about 3 blokes on the way through before he kicked the goal, though, I think, Bruce.
Graham Corns has just won a goal at the moment. Anything would do for Adelaide. Shell-shocked, 49-16. Negri and Abbott. Maynard. Fitzroy seemingly have the numbers. Now Stevens tries to barge his way through, can't. Marshall unable to get it away. McCormack just gives it to Elliott, who might have taken it off him in the end. 2 half forward. There's Ben Hart. Tregenza, clever to Lee. Marshall underneath it. Ingerson at the back. Nobody there for Adelaide. Abbott. Wide to centre wing to Baldwin, who's off. Goes inside. McCormack. Wheeldon his target. Smart against him. Wiedemann. Or a high tackle by Osborne. Aussie and the Weed together. I'm not too sure what Richard was complaining about. It's a fierce looking man, this, isn't it?
Look at the eyes.
Wayne Wiedemann from half-back Jamison. Seacamp with him. Now Baldwin goes without it. Tregenza's handball okay. Jamison, who's come right up from the pocket. A lot of people think he'll make a centreman eventually. Hart missed 4 players, finds him. He's normally pretty good in this situation. That's not bad to Hodges. So the second time within 3 or 4 minutes Hart's found Hodges. That one a little more direct than the last. Well, must kick it. Adelaide not getting many opportunities now, and they've got to take full advantage. It's not an easy kick in the pocket into a slight breeze, but an outstanding goal kicker will do it, and he's kicked it pretty well for a goal.
Well, Scott Hodges has kicked two, and he looks a real full forward when he comes straight out the ground, straight up the ground, and leads like that. Now, lip tack to the half-forward line. Adelaide starting to get a bit of a move on. Morris, now Hart. Oh, he loses it. Fitzroy plays desperately, try and get it out. Oh, that's handball straight back to the line. Grabbed by Jamison. Jamison on the left foot, a very clever player up in front of goal. The Flyers are there over the back. Lip tack, a chance for the Crows here. Rowe is caught. McGuinness, gee, they've handled McGuinness well tonight. And the umpire's found a free kick. He'll go Fitzroy's way to Broderick.
McCormick, a very strong tackler, Peter. He disposed of the ball from McGuinness on that occasion, and Sanderson's warming up for Adelaide, so they're going to make a change.
Rowe was the mistake there, though, Don, just too slow. Line from half-back. To centre wing. At the back, Hart, that's Ben Hart. And thumping it to the line against Caven. There's Sanderson, the 18-year-old, just turned 18 in late February. I think the 27th from memory. Kick by Liptak. Hart. Morris.
We just want to know, Bruce, whether you've memorised the birthdays of every player out in the ground or what?
No, he probably invited the party, Peter.
I think Max Stevens told me, and someone else told me it was the same birthday as date as Ron Barassi's. Here's Liptak on the left foot. Modra at the back, Lynch. Dundas. I was going to say he sold a dummy, but Donna probably asked me how much he got for it. Dundas into the centre square. There's Maynard with him, Caven. Going to ground, Hart, Tregenza. Little kick round the body to centre wing.
Yes, clever play, Tregenza. Now he butters up after it. He's on centre wing. Oh, he can't pick it up. Chance now for Abbott. Smothered off the boot by Maynard. And it'll be a throw-in.
Sanderson's still on the boundary. And it's Liptak who's going to come off.
And he's itching to get on too. Brenton Sanderson, only a young player, recruited from Sturt. But really the Crows will have to get a move on. There's Wiedemann. Scott Lee was there also. Now Caven, who kicked that great goal, smothered by Lee, and it'll be another throw-in at half-forward for Fitzroy. There he is. Started at Hawthorn, Don, but couldn't quite make it.
No, he's there in about the mid-80s. Peter went to Central Districts.
Played every game last season for Adelaide, along with Grant Filkey.
And actually, Negru was also at Hawthorn. Came from Tasmania, played a couple of games.
Now Baldwin. Osborne and Tasker. Gee, there was a good mark, wasn't it, by Osborne? He was pushing and shoving with Tasker earlier. It's a thumping kick, Osborne, but this will test him. Well, he didn't do it in the end. Now Caven has got time to steady. McCormack, who's been the engine room man tonight, he's been the big star. Goes across to Boyd, who goes for goal and kicks it right there, but thumped through in the end by Tasker from behind. So 8-2 to 3-4. It's a big lead.
Good play by Bradley Boyd too, to sneak down the centre of the ground there to receive that pass. Tasker to the half-back line. Oh, good mark. This is the player who just came onto the ground, Brenton Sanderson. Now he's gone back
to the other
to Hart. Now it's Maynard. Now it's Wiedemann. He only knows one way, Wiedemann. That's crashing his way straight through. Punched away from Hart. Good play by Daryl Hart to keep with that ball. There's Marshall caught. Well, Fitzroy players putting the pressure on. And it will be a bounce.
See, not often you see McGuinness with 3 kicks and 2 handballs close to half-time, and McDermott 4 and 2. And Marshall 5 and 1. So just 17 touches between the 3 men who normally generate Adelaide's attack.
They've done their homework well, Bruce.
Stevens should have got a free kick. Ingerson was all over him. And he does in the end.
They've obviously just tried to man up on the playmakers of the Crows, Bruce.
Here's Seacamp from Stevens to centre wing. Missed by Harding. It was well done in the end. Now Jamison back to Wiedemann. Across to Sanderson, who got knocked out in the game I saw him against Carlton. In the last quarter, a high one. Paxman went underneath it. Modra has been very quiet. Rowe, Maynard, Tregenza, but they're getting rid of it in a hurry, Adelaide, and to nobody in particular. And Fitzroy much surer as Seacamp goes to centre wing to Dundas, who's got a paddock. It'll sit for little fellow. Over the top. Not good, though. He let everybody know what he's about to do, and Tasker was able to take it off him and bang it back to half forward.
Good play by Tasker to read that so well. It's at half. Oh, well played by Hart. Here's a chance as Jamison, bad hand pass to Ingerson, still tapped it on. Here's a chance for Hart again on the left foot into an open goal. Darryl Hart and slams it through.
2 goals to Hart. Just get the feeling here, Don, that Adelaide's mounting a little challenge.
Yes, they are, Bruce. They're just starting to get a bit of a run on. There's only 4 minutes left.
No Paul Roos out there.
Well, it does make a bit of a difference because he was running deep into that forward line and setting up a number of plays.
Negri missed by Rowe. Elliott over the top with Lyon. Tregenza. Rowe gives away a free kick to Elliott. Just charged into him. Here's Elliott, the 19-year-old. Played 16 games last year. Now Lyon. Just feeds off Marshall, but not a good kick. Normally very good line. Wilden straight back to Maynard, to Smart. Mistakes though, and that's Caven. Maynard and Wilden having a go at one another. So 22-point margin inside the last 4 minutes in the first half.
Yes, a vital few minutes coming up here before half time. Fitzroy could do with a steadier, and Adelaide could desperately do with another 2 quick ones.
Gee, he goes in hard at that ball, Ross Lyon, especially when there's a throw-in or a centre bounce down. He really does put his body on the line, and he put it on the line just then too.
Well, there's Robert Shaw, very, very good coach, and he's working well with these young players. Half forward for Fitzroy. Players pounce in on top of it like a rugby scrum there, and it'll be a bounce. And Broderick again at the bottom of the pack. Paul Broderick. He's done a magnificent job on Tony McGuinness. And he's gone back to man him up at this bounce. You can see in the background there, he's really with him. That was Wiedemann, a hurry kick. Round towards Tregenza. Tregenza off the ground. Dundas with him. Oh, good play, Tregenza. Pace. And he's got it again. If this results in a goal, it'll be Tregenza's goal. Jamison. Now he's got the loose man in Ingerson. Out he comes and marks. So that is terrific play, all starting with Tregenza on centre wing.
Just pure pace displayed by Tregenza on that occasion to get away from Dundas, who was in pursuit. Kicked the ball along the ground, then followed up. Got it across to Jamison. Here it is, Jamison. As we've remarked before, a beautiful kick. On that occasion, he finds Ingerson, who is a very impressive youngster at centre-half forward.
And he's a left footer. He's almost directly in front. Funny-looking style. He's hooked it slightly. And he has missed. So a bad miss getting towards half-time. But I certainly agree with you, Bruce. I think they're desperately missing Roos across that half-back line with his steadiness. Now the kick from Lynch is long and wide. Oh, beautiful kick that was. Broderick. Again, they're kicking his first class tonight, Fitzroy, and the mark has been taken on centre wing by Baldwin.
Handball to Broderick, back to McCormack.
Oh, isn't he smart?
Sure is, Don. Broderick, McCormack again. It's been the class act out there tonight. Now Osborne. Lyons, Shepherd's okay against Hart. Still Osborne in the pocket, kicks it out in the full.
He's not quick, McCormack. I watched him running with McGuinness earlier, and McGuinness actually beat him in a foot race, but he is very, very quick in the head.
Do you mean McDermott? McDermott beat him in the
I'm sorry, McDermott.
Because McGuinness would beat a few in a foot race.
I'm sorry.
But he's lost about 8 kilos this year.
Well, he's still big, isn't he? If you saw him in the mounting yard, you'd think next one more run, wouldn't you?
Well, David Hayes is here tonight. He might want to saddle him up.
Tregenza, the centre wing. Ingerson in the front spot. Takes the mark. the man that's impressed Don. Here's Sanderson from the centre. Lead by Modra. Now Morrish to Lynch. This defence holding up pretty well inside the last minute and a bit of Paxman. No free kick. Blakey. Dundas to Stevens, who bangs it to half forward, so Fitzroy out of trouble. Osborne with him Hart, and the 17-year-old runs it out with Osborne for a throw-in.
Very impressive for a 17-year-old, isn't he? Played full back last week for Adelaide in the Foundation Cup. And Donato coming on for Fitzroy. I think it's Seacamp who's gone off.
Half forward still for Fitzroy. Chris McDermott around the corner. Stevens sets himself. That was a difficult mark. He judged it well. Donato to the half-forward line. A very ordinary kick.
That's what lets them down, isn't it, Peter? Just their skill, their disposal, whether it be by hand or foot.
Well, if they got through to meet Hawthorn, you just couldn't afford that against a side like Hawthorn, or they'd make them pay for it.
Negri and Abbott. Negri on the tap. Lyon got it from Broderick. Here's McGuinness on his fourth kick. I'd like to find out from Max Stevens whether he's 100% fit. Stevens, and a throw in at half-back. There's Brett, who has been a real stalwart for Fitzroy. 104 games. Negri.
Free kick, surely.
Stevens. Free kick to Negri. 20 seconds remaining, so not time you wouldn't think for Adelaide here.
Now there's a wrestle going on behind players. The umpire going to break this or pay a free kick. Look at them, they're wrestling on the edge of the square.
Well, I'd be tempted to just let it go, because they're off the play.
It's Baldwin and Jamison. Well, less than 10 seconds remaining. Blakey gives Marshall a little shove in the back. Free kick to Marshall, but here's the siren. And it goes with Adelaide trailing Fitzroy. It's a great first half to Fitzroy. They kicked 4 goals in the first quarter and 4 in the second term. Adelaide coming back, but there's Roos. Ankle injury, as Gerard Healy told us. Let's hope it's not too serious. The champion Wilden with a couple of goals until half-time has been dangerous, along with Osborne. Modra on the left struggled. Hodges has kicked 2. And Ingerson's looked pretty good. But at the half-time, it's Fitzroy by 21.
Thank goodness there was still a little iced coffee in these two.
Half-time at Waverley Park. Fitzroy kicking 4-2 in the second term to 3-2. And at half-time lead, 8 goals 2 to 4 goals 5. But they had a big lead earlier on, and Adelaide did come back. They kicked 3 of the last 4 goals in the first half. Don Scott and Peter McKenna to summarise the opening half of play.
Well, it was a good game, Peter, actually, because there was a lot of pressure, I suppose. But then again, some of that skill on occasions, we do put it down to pressure sometimes, but some of the skill displayed by Fitzroy was deplorable when they had fellows, that they could give the ball to on a plate.
Yeah, young Matty Dundas and a couple of them, and they broke clear a few times. A couple of very poor kicks to position. And as I said in the commentary, if you did that against a side like Hawthorn, you'd get slaughtered. But they were running in numbers, Fitzroy, don't they? More numbers around the ball. They put enormous pressure on the... They put pressure on the playmakers of Adelaide,
well, it's usually an indication of a team that really does want the ball. But I'm impressed with Adelaide. 2 of their youngsters, and they've got a great future, haven't they, in football, Adelaide? When you can bring in a guy like young Ben Hart on a half-back flank who's got a lot of composure, and Sanderson, who also came on. They're 2 youngsters. They've only played about 3 games between them, and what potential they've got over in Adelaide.
Now, interesting look at the match stats, Don. 15 free kicks to 7. Well, the umpires have done a great job, but you're always raving about Ruckman. Look at that, 23 hit-outs to Adelaide, 6 to Fitzroy, yet they're 4 goals behind. How do you account for that?
Well, the fact is that Fitzroy haven't got a ruckman. It's easy to say that, Peter, because Pittman was doing a great job there early, as was Ingerson. I didn't mention Ingerson. He does the ruck work on the forward line, especially on the boundary. He's done well, and also Negri since he's come on.
Well, you almost got out of it, Don. Let's go down to the Fitzroy rooms and Gerard Healy.
Good on you, Bruce. Well, it's almost a grand final atmosphere here in the Fitzroy rooms. Coming up the race, the players were obviously very disappointed with the last 10 minutes, and Robert Shaw has just sat them down and given them a little bit of a stern talking to. emphasising a few of their skill errors, etc. But you must give him credit. He's got Fitzroy playing a far better brand of football, running hard at the ball in numbers, and a lot of unselfish running to support. I guess one of the big questions now, of course, is can Fitzroy go on with it? By the smell in the room here, I'd say yes, but one of the other big questions, of course, is will Max Stevens, the super sleuth from Adelaide, get into the Adelaide rooms?
Well, we must thank Robert Shaw for letting Gerard Healy into the Fitzroy rooms, and we'll find out whether Max has had any luck after the break. Scotty Palmer coming up next.
Time for Fitzroy Footy Club. You see all the best AFL action on Channel 7.
Welcome back to Waverley Park. Let's go to the 7 Sports Desk for punchlines and Scotty Palmer. Good evening, Scotty. How are you?
Good evening, Bruce. Terrific, mate.
Mate, what's the story with the order off rule? You've told me something about State of Origin. I don't believe it.
It's coming. They're sharpening their fingers, Bruce, because although it's in the State Football League and the under-18s, the league have announced that it's going to be in the State of Origin football. We'll see it here against West Australia and in South Australia well in July. So it's coming for sure. Order off. I don't like it, but it's coming.
Well, it's infiltrating, Scotty. Now, what about Greg Williams and Carlton? All sorts of rumours today about court action.
Yes, there was Supreme Court whispers, but Carlton denied tonight that they've had any intention of going to court. The matter is at rest, and Greg will play when he says suspension is up.
Tony Shaw, when's he going to come back for Collingwood?
He's hastening his comeback and will play against Melbourne and Ballarat tomorrow. Only half a match to get the back right, but he'll be in action. They need him at Collingwood. And, of course, Gary Lyon, a little twinge in his ankle. He'll wait another week, but he'll be a runner for John Northey tomorrow.
OK, so some good news there. Now, what about the number 1 draft pick for next Thursday? Who's it going to be?
We're all betting on it, but the word is that Damien Kitsky, the former Saint, now in South Australia training with Sturt, could be the Bears' number 1 pick. Although Gavin Exel is very, very highly regarded too, and he could go to Essendon because that's one of the clubs they're after him.
Now, somebody has told me that a Trades Hall official's been dining with some players' representatives this week.
A top boss was seen dining with the players. Now, they're talking industrial work, Bruce. We just wonder whether the players, when they meet the AFL in April, are going to ask for a minimum wage for players.
OK, well, we'll follow that one with a great deal of interest. Now, what's happened down at Moorabbin today with the St Kilda players?
A lot of scare rumours around town today that the Saints had AIDS tests. We checked it out tonight, and they're only the regular blood test that the insurance man needs to keep the Saints in action, Bruce.
OK, Scotty, plenty there, and the big story is that the order off rule will be in for State of Origin football this year. Keep punching, Scotty.
Keep punching, Bruce.
Good on you, mate. Scotty Palmer, and bringing us right up to date with the latest. Well, I wonder if the Super Sleuth did get into the Adelaide rooms. Max Stevens.
Well, unfortunately, Bruce, security down here is that tight. Not even Fat Cat would get into the rooms at half-time, the Adelaide rooms. Unfortunately, Graham Cornsey made it very clear to us earlier in the season that during his half-time break, he didn't want people to get into the rooms because he didn't want us to broadcast across Australia what he had to say to the players. That's his decision, and that's fair enough. Now, just having a look at the injuries, there is some talk that Tony McGuinness isn't 100% fit. I spoke to him on the plane over and he didn't make any comment about that. Darren Smith, he has a bruised calf. He isn't expected to take any further part in the game. And as you said before, Brenton Sanderson, you were correct. He was born on the 27th of the 2nd. He turned 18 about a week ago, the same date as Ron Barassi. Back to you, Bruce.
Good on you, Max, and that earpiece coming out of your ear there. So I won't ask you any questions. Max Stevens, so maybe McGuinness not 100%. What's coming up on 7 Sport? Touring cars, Shell Australian Touring Car Championships round 2 at Sandown on Sunday. I wonder if Peter Brock will do it again and win in his Commodore. He loves the Sandown circuit. And then round 3 at Simmons Plains in Tasmania on March the 15th. Again, check your local guides for telecast details. Well, will Adelaide keep coming back or will the Lions go on with it? We'll know after this break.